Hello everyone, and welcome to the Season 12 Developer Update Stream and the Warlock Deep Dive. My name is Marcus Kretz. I'm a community manager here at Blizzard Entertainment. And we've got a jam-packed show for you today. But first things first, Twitch drops are live. Watch any eligible channel on the Diablo 4 category, and you can grab this Omen's Glimpse Wand Cosmetic for 30 minutes.
What a nice start.
And if you watch for 1 hour, you can earn the Siphon of Male Faction Scythe Cosmetic. Now we've got a lot to share today as we dive into the makeup, development, and skills of the Warlock class. And then on the second half of the stream, we're going to be talking about everything coming with our upcoming season launching on March 11th. Very, very exciting. But I want to recap to everyone. We do have the Lord of Hatred expansion arriving on April 28th. To take you through everything coming there, we've got this handy infographic. Lord of Hatred brings an epic new campaign. We'll have 2 new classes with the Paladin and the Warlock. There's going to be a whole new region with Skobos. There's going to be massive system overhauls and an expanded endgame. So there's a ton to check out there on April 28th when Lord of Hatred arrives. But without any further ado, we have a fantastic video to share with you that goes over everything coming with this dark, dark class, the Warlock. Take it away.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for the official Warlock Deep Dive. We're excited to get into the details, including some backstory, their visual and archetype design, and mechanics. Let's jump in.
Hey everyone, I'm JP Reinmiller, Associate Art Director for Diablo 4, and I'm really excited to be here sharing more about the Warlock, its story, and the visual design that brings it to life. When we started talking about the Warlock, the very first thing we aligned on was that this character stands fully unleashed at the height of their strength. Warlock is not a clean hero, not someone who's throwing fireballs from a safe distance and walking away spotless, but rather a dark caster who's made a very conscious decision to use demons as tools. The Warlock emerges from the shadows as a practitioner of forbidden arts, shaped by the dark legacy of the Vizrai, haunted by demons, burdened with infernal insight, and feared by pretty much everyone. They have a presence about them that takes over the room. They've been through so much and have so much power that you both want to run with them and are scared of them. They've come from a really corrupt history. They've seen hell up close, and because of that, the way they summon demons isn't elegant or ceremonial. It's violent. You're ripping something out of hell against its will and forcing it into sanctuary. You don't always know what you might get, and that struggle between this dark evil and the hero you are is core to the fantasy. What I love about the Warlock is that they sit right on that line between hero and something a little more dangerous. They're trying to save Sanctuary, but they're willing to do things that no one else will. There's no regret about collateral damage. It's very much, I don't have a choice. This has to be done. And we wanted that to come through not just in the spells, but in how they move, how they stand.
Better than Necro.
Space. They can take a hit and hit back in ways we've never done before in the Diablo game. That's really the heart of the class. You're asserting dominance over hell itself, and everything about the Warlock, narratively, visually, and mechanically, reinforces that idea. When we were figuring out the visual direction for the Warlock, we knew pretty early on we didn't want them to feel like a traditional fantasy caster. No flowing robes, no pristine silhouettes, no fancy elegance. The touchstones we kept coming back to were rebellion and metal. That feeling of someone who's been through hell, literally, and came back changed by it. Visually, we wanted the Warlock to feel intimidating. To be honest, a lot of that inspiration comes from metal music culture. It's loud and aggressive, and that idea translated really naturally into how the Warlock moves, how they cast, how they carry themselves. This is someone who's walked the edge for a long time. Like if someone microdosed soul shards until they found the right amount. So we leaned into the color vibe of working in a machine shop and having the oil and dirt on you. There's grit in the materials, texture in the surfaces, and weight in the way everything hangs off the body. Nothing feels ornamental for ornament's sake. They're not trying to look heroic. They look the way they do because that's what surviving hell does to you. Everything visually is there to support that story.
Show us the mechanics, bro.
Is a visual design where strong demonic
You're
colors
talking about
of
art
intertwine with physical motion that sets the stage for their lore as a caster, who bends demons and infernal forces to their will, giving the class an otherworldly presence. There's a unique aspect to how we crafted this hero. Character art was a huge part of this class from the beginning. With so many assets needed to be created for the demons,
Why is he
we had to
talking
work
about art
closely
all
as
the
a
time?
feature team to pair all the visual elements of VFX, animation, and character art to help make the demons feel a part of the class in a way that succinctly flowed through the Warlock's visual design. With a balanced approach to animation and VFX, the demonology, shadow, and fire bring that raw, unfiltered power to life in the Warlock. Every moment is deliberate, heavy, and echoes the physical toll of wielding Hell's energy. When you cast, you're forcing something into existence, and the visuals match that intensity. Our effects team went all in to make Warlock feel unique, with a strong identity rooted in danger. Summoning demons is an eruption of hell-forged energy, fire, and twisted light. We wanted the VFX to accentuate the animation with a focus on feel and movement. That's why when you see the skills, they are crafted with aggressive shapes and relentless motion. Whether it's tearing open a portal or binding a demon, you always get a sense of chaos barely held in check, and the battlefield transforms with every cast.
Warlock is a willpower-based class, focused on dominating the battlefield. They use two different resources, Wrath to bring chaotic destruction, and Dominance to summon powerful demons.
Dual
To
resource.
define the Warlock as a class, we focus on what it will empower players to do and how they will interact with the world. First, you create. You're constantly bringing things into the world.
Okay.
Demons, demon parts, manifestations of hell. For example, you might command Fallen to path through the environment. Or you might block off areas with Wall of Agony, actively shaping the battlefield with your summoned creations. Then you control. A lot of your power comes from deciding where those demons go, how long they stay alive, and what state they're in. You're controlling the battlefield by positioning and commanding demons while locking down enemies. This is where Warlock is really able to flex its willpower and feel a sense of deliberate domination. You could order the Tortured Wretch to taunt foes into reckless attacks, or direct the Profane Sentinel to blast your chosen target. Every action is an announcement of your authority over the chaos you've summoned. And finally, you combo. Almost nothing exists in isolation. You're encouraged to chain interactions, summon something, modify it, consume it, detonate it, or use it to empower the next action. The system rewards you for thinking a step ahead. Kill both enemies and demons swiftly with bombardment, fueling Sigil of Summons to unleash the next wave of demons. What's important is that these layers feed into each other. Creating gives you options. Control lets you shape those options, and comboing turns them into a payoff. So the Warlock isn't just executing a single fixed rotation. It's about building a small ecosystem in combat, and then deciding how aggressively or how cleverly you want to collapse it.
Which means you don't have
The
big
core
hitters.
idea behind
You
Soul
have to
Shards
spam.
is really about transformations, saying, I'm not just summoning demons anymore, I'm actually incorporating hell into myself. With the Soul Shard system, you fuse a demon straight into your body. Picking a Soul Shard is the rulebook for everything you do in-game, shaping your powers and how you play from the ground up. You choose from 4 primary shards. Each shard represents a fundamentally different playstyle direction, mutating your character by stealing powers from hell and your bound demon. Each primary shard does 2 major things. First, it grants a transformative playstyle passive that alters
Better
your
than
core
Necro.
gameplay loop. How
Mobility.
you summon demons, how you control them, and how you chain effects.
Better than Necro.
Second, it binds a specific demon pet to you, directly tied to the shard's identity. Within each primary shard, you then select one of 3 fragment sub-options. Fragments act as specialization layers.
Oh.
They don't change what the shard is, but they absolutely change how it
Unstoppable.
behaves, what you prioritize, what resources you lean on, and how your abilities interact. The result is that the shards open up new and unique transformative options for how you interact with the world and your demons. When you see a Warlock in action, you can tell what they chose, not because of a tooltip, but because of how their gameplay unfolds.
So you metamorphose. There is a
One of the big
metamorphosis
pillars
option.
of the Warlock is that although you're a summoner of hell, these entities are not behaving like conventional pets. Most summons are temporary. Warlocks brutally discard them once they have served their purpose. But with a soul shard, you choose to persistently bind one of 4 powerful demons to supercharge your playstyle. With Legion, the focus is on biological demon generation. This demon specializes in spawning physical demonic bodies into the world. Mechanically, that gives you more entities to control, reposition, and chain together, which supports builds that scale through volume and chaotic pressure.
Nah,
Here you have the demon Agram.
it's
who
all
embodies
about
this
clearing the
chaotic
pits
approach.
and the tower.
Using its Spit command, Agram can unleash corrosive projectiles across the battlefield that burst into smaller demons on impact.
Nah,
As you command Agram and other lesser demons, their deaths fuel your power to summon greater demons. Every spawned lesser demon serves as a resource, amplifying your summoning potential and enabling more dramatic, high-impact plays. The system encourages you to continuously generate, sacrifice, and leverage these demonic minions, creating a feedback loop where the chaos you unleash becomes the fuel for even more formidable monsters to join your legion. Vanguard shifts the system towards mobility and frontline presence. The fiery steed Abattoir functions as an aggressive, speedy means of closing gaps. It's designed for players who want to push forward, create openings, and apply pressure through motion. With Abattoir's charge, the Warlock surges across the battlefield in a blaze of hellfire, pulling foes along and instantly repositioning for the next attack. Mastermind moves things in a more control-oriented direction. The devouring shadow demon Lalish undermines your enemies and attacks on your command. It favors players who enjoy planning ahead and creating layered
this is
outcomes.
like Shadow Priest from World of Warcraft.
Executing Lalish's Terror Realm consumes foes while cloaking the Warlock in
It's Shadow Priest from World of Warcraft.
allowing you to remain hidden while issuing direct commands to your abyssal demons. This devastating maneuver lets you orchestrate surprise assaults, manipulating enemy placement and inflicting terror. The synergy between Shadow Form and Abyss Demon control turns the battlefield into your personal chessboard. Ritualist is deliberately different. This demon exists primarily as a sacrificial resource. You're siphoning power from it to generate bursts of strength,
This one's.
trading an offensive pet for spikes in your damage
Yes,
and
Reflex.
efficiency.
Welcome.
When you channel the might of Valak,
This is
you're
good.
tapping into a wellspring of forbidden magic.
This one's good.
By draining Valak's essence, you can unleash empowered spell combos, like trapping enemies in shadowy confinement.
This
with
is
dark
for
prison
pits.
Before detonating the battlefield with hell fractures. Valak's unique bond supercharges your occult, hellfire, and abyss abilities,
Yes, this
making
is.
every cast more devastating.
This
and
build-
allowing your warlock to bend the materials of hell to their will in moments of explosive power.
We can already
Hopefully
know.
you can see how picking your bound demon
This
is
one is
more
gonna
than just
scale
window
so
dressing.
high, it's gonna
It's
clear
the
pit
linchpin
150.
that turns every fight into your personal stage.
This one. It's gonna scale insanely
What sets
high.
the Warlock apart is the sheer freedom you have to define your power. There are countless ways to customize your skills, and every level unlocks new options that let you reshape your build on the fly. Many of the Warlock's most iconic abilities don't just have a single expression. They can be radically reshaped through variants that change how the power manifests in combat. Each variant pushes the ability in a distinct direction, letting you lean into overwhelming chaos, precise command, or personal dominance. Whether you're amplifying demonic force, directing it with intent, or consuming it to become the weapon yourself, these variants ensure that every major summon reflects your chosen playstyle and reinforces how you want your Warlock to engage in the battlefield. Let's dive right into the Warlock skill variants. Rampage. You unleash a rampaging demon brute onto the battlefield, a living engine of chaos that smashes through anything unlucky enough to stand in its way. Abyssal Titan. The demon brute becomes an Abyssal Titan, larger and imbued with the shadows of hell. You may directly order this brute to perform devastating leap attacks.
Necro doesn't
Demonic
have that.
Smash. You consume the brute's power, gaining demon form and allowing you yourself to jump into the battlefield.
This is insane.
Sigil of Summons. Perform occult rituals to summon additional demons. Customize how you perform this ritual and what comes out. Summon Succubus. Summon 2 greater succubi that inflict terrible, terrible shadow damage. Summon Hellworm. summon a hellworm that mimics your own demon summoning even more
You have
demons.
your own infernal hordes in
Fiend
your
of Abaddon. You
pockets.
summon a towering demon juggernaut, wielding a massive hell-forged greatsword that
This looks
cleaves
cool.
through the battlefield in unstoppable arcs of destruction. Abyssal Colossus. You may now order the
What
fiend to
is
perform
this?
an enormous
This is like Hit's
two-fisted
hamburger menu.
smash that pulls in
Summon
enemies.
Titan. Summon
Vanguard of Flames.
Abyssal
This
Colossus.
fiend is now bound directly to you,
Summon
moving
like
with you and allowing you to charge
Bruh.
into battle with it. This is especially cool with the Rampage Demonic Smash variant, since you can leap yourself with this fiend attached to you. We're so excited for all of you to shape your Warlock playstyle with your own devastating abilities and unique variants. The options are as dynamic as they are powerful. Dive deep and discover the combinations that unleash your true potential. That wraps up our Warlock Deep Dive for now. Thank you to our incredible community for your ongoing passion
This is Deep
and
Dive?
enthusiasm. Your excitement and feedback have helped shape every step of our journey, and we can't wait to see how you make the Warlock's power your own.
Wow, this was undermining.
There you have it, the Warlock. Hot damn, that looks amazing. And who better to get into everything than Colin and Bjorn? Welcome back to the stream.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Hell yeah, so first things first, I gotta ask you guys, why the Warlock?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So, you know, Lord of Hatred as an expansion has this core theme of sort of heaven versus hell. Also, this sort of duality of old versus new. There's going to be a lot of returning things that you're going to see from older games, like some of the monsters you might have seen, as well as like new things like the Warlock. So, you know, we felt like when we wanted to sort of deliver two classes in this expansion, we felt what better way to sort of embody this idea than like the Holy Paladin who walks the light. Very straightforward, very good, very simple. You know, I just want to blast demons with holy energy. And then we wanted that sort of contrast with the Warlock, who's sort of this edgelord, brutal
Reworked Necromancer.
demonologist, you know, uses hell's power, you know, draws on demons from the burning hells. So we felt like that really just sort of, that contrast set each other apart, like these classes in a really cool way. And I think, you know, from the class design side, Bjorn, you designed the class. You know, I think when we looked at it, what were some of the things we're looking for in terms of like carving out a new place in our roster? This is our 8th class now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When we're looking at kind of what classes can do, we're taking into account like each of their different play styles. And so with the Warlock, what we're really kind of honed in on was the ideas of like different sort of like summon-based gameplay that we hadn't explored as deeply yet. So with the
What?
Warlock, for
You
instance,
have
it's less about
Necromancer
kind of
in
the-
this
some of the
game.
things that you've
What
seen
are you
before,
talking
maybe,
about?
Like having like large standing armies that are constantly fighting for you, and instead it's kind of exploring, for instance, like
What is he
temporary
saying?
summons that you're going to kill off, or having like one big summon that you're like really completely in control of, while also sort of exploring how that affects the Warlock when they're doing that, like how they're affected by the shadows or how they take on the form of demon form.
Yeah, like I loved it in the video how like the Warlock is not standing at the back, like they're right in there flinging demons, you know, like a little meat trebuchets. Like it's pretty awesome to see. And I mean, yeah, there's so much to chew on with the class. Like, what are you both most excited for players to get into?
Yeah, I think one thing on that, because I love what you said about the Warlock being in the front, something we talked a lot about on sort of the broader roster is that this is a caster and a summoner, but we wanted it to feel different to like the Sorcerer and the Necromancer. So something we talked a lot about internally is like if they all got into a bar fight, like the Warlock would just like kick all their asses, right? And he's like ripped, he has a 6-pack,
Yeah.
and he's there to beat some ass. So, but you know, in terms of what we're really excited about, I'd say like one of the things that we didn't really touch on that I'm very excited about is the sort
So
of new
Warlock's a
mechanics
better
the
class
Warlock
than Necro and
introduces that you
Sorc?
can take
The
advantage
developer
of,
has
and
said
that's
it.
Demon form. So demon form actually allows you yourself to turn into a demon and absorb some of the power of the demons that you can summon. You saw that on Rampage, where you can actually like leap yourself into battle. You just crush that demon, put it inside of you, and it lets you leap. Another is like you saw maybe in the video where you rip this demon head out of the ground and it starts spewing fire. When you're the demon, you actually just get to spew this fire from your mouth itself. And we just think that that's such a badass way to play. And I think one of the really cool things about demon form itself is that the ultimate metamorphosis allows you to swap back and forth between human form and demon form. And what that means is you actually get sort of like almost like 10 different abilities you get to play with, because demon form is going to replace a bunch of your abilities. I know that you spent a lot of time like thinking about how we want this to play out.
Yeah. I mean, and even talking to kind of what you were saying of kind of leveraging the new systems kind of that we have. So specifically the new skill tree, having all the new variants in it too, kind of let us really explore that.
Demon
So
Hunter
for
from
instance,
World
like
of
all
Warcraft,
those
bro.
archery
Like,
skills you're talking about, they all have a version where it's like, now I want to do the thing as a demon myself. So like that's always a thing you can say, like, hey, I just want the infernal breath. Like, I want to be able to breathe fire. You can always just take that variant and put it into your skill kit. But kind of, as you're saying, Metamorphosis is that additional option of like, hey, maybe I always want to be able to summon the fire-breathing head, but then Metamorphosis lets me essentially dynamically swap which variant I have equipped mid-fight and sort of get that additional skill bar, essentially, which I think is a really neat kind of way to let you build, kind of whether or not you want to go all in on the fire breath or if you wanted to swap back and forth between summoning and doing it yourself, which I think is pretty neat.
Yeah, it's really like a unique playstyle in that you summon a bunch of these archfiend greater demons and then swap in a demon form to really build back up
Demon
dominance
form
to use
this
them
is Demon
yourself.
Hunter from World of Warcraft.
I think, like, it also goes back to that like duality that we've been talking about.
Mixed
for
with
Lord of
Shadow
Hatred.
Priest and Warlock.
You know, the Warlock itself is like a pretty crunchy and complicated class in contrast to the Paladin, right? The Paladin's very straightforward, whereas the Warlock is much more sort of, I don't want to say intelligent, but a little bit more methodical, and there's a lot to get into on the build crafting and system side that we're really excited to sort of have everyone play with.
Yeah, I think it's so cool that, like, I liked what you said about like how the Warlock can embody demons. It's like the Warlock's not going to tell the demons to do anything he's not willing to do himself.
Yeah,
Like, he's willing to get in there and get dirty.
Yeah, and it really, like, you get to pick, like, do I want to just do it myself, or do I want to tell the demons explicitly? You saw that with Shadow Form, where like the Warlock snuck up on a group of enemies. They didn't even know he was there and blew them all up. Or you can really lean into that like chaos of just summoning, you know, hundreds of demons that are all going to die and feel your energy.
Yeah, it's a super intense class fantasy, and Bjorn, I like what you said about the skill variants. Like, it opens up a ton of different possibilities. You know, with those possibilities, it also brings the question of like, how are you and the team going to approach class balance as the, you know, Lord of Hatred expansion comes out? There's going to be a ton to work with.
Yeah, I mean, we want it to be fun, so it's going to tear shit up. But I think, you know, really balance, like the name implies, it's a sliding scale. And we use this approach even in seasons when we do collectible powers or anything new. We know there's a learning curve to, you know, learning a new class or anything in the game. So we generally err on the side of it being a little bit stronger to sort of make up for that learning curve. But we also, just on the side of like with anything new, we want to make sure that there's a lot of different ways to play the class. So we're going to generally make sure that, you know, no matter what option you pick, you're going to feel powerful, you're going to feel badass and awesome. So, you know, we're going to do our best to make sure that it's not completely destroying the game, but what we care about a lot is that the class feels powerful and you're going to have a lot of different options that are going to feel crunchy and cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool to know that there's going to be a class with like a really high ceiling that you can, you know, explore and get to know and really, you know, min-max to the max when it comes out. So that's awesome. So Colin, Bjorn, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here. We are going to have Colin and Bjorn come back towards the end of the stream for Q&A. So if you have any questions for Colin and Bjorn, please drop them into Twitch chat. We'll be collecting those and saving them for later. But we do want to share with you, before Lord of Hatred comes out, we actually do have some extra bonuses if you pre-order that are themed around the Warlock, which is really cool. So coming on March 11th with the 2.6.0 patch update, we're actually going to have a Warlock back trophy. This is reactive, by the way, and a town portal, which is pretty badass. Yeah, Portal just wants a hug. And then when Lord of Hatred actually launches on April 28th, we'll also have this Warlock skin that you'll get as well from the pre-purchase expansion. So those back trophy and town portal are going to be there on March 11th, and then more to come when Lord of Hatred launches, which is pretty awesome. And that is the Infernal Apostle Warlock cosmetic bundle. That is a chunky mouthful. That's a lot, yeah. Yeah, so you can grab that. So we will say goodbye to Colin and Bjorn, and we're going to bring in some new people to check out everything coming with our next season. So hang tight.
So the developer himself literally just said Warlock is a better class than Necro and Sork. And Diablo 4 is looking like it's being heavily inspired by Doom, actually. The fact that this Warlock class in Diablo universe existing is so similar to the Hell Priests in Doom, it's... Anyway. I want to talk about positive things about this game, but it's really challenging right now. Does it feel super, super, super inspiring, or does it feel like a revolutionary mechanic that has been introduced to us by bringing the Warlock? From what I've seen so far, it feels like a reworked Necromancer combined with some Sorks and Demon Hunter and Shadow Priest from World of Warcraft. And the fact that one of the developers have said we did not experience the summon playstyle yet in this game, that triggered me. Like, you have the Necromancer in this class, you have the Companion Druid in this game, you have the Necromancer, Summon Necromancer, and a developer just says we have not yet experienced a full-scale summon build in Diablo 4. I don't know what to say to that. Or maybe, since I'm not a native English speaker, maybe I completely misunderstood what he said, and maybe I completely misinterpreted what he said. Which I really hope that's the case, by the way, which I really hope.
Hey everybody, welcome back, and now we're going to get into everything coming with our upcoming season. We've got a few familiar faces here. Aislinn, welcome back to the stream.
Good to be here.
Dan Tangway, in the flesh. How's it going?
It's going all right.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So where we last left off with the players, we had the PTR. You know, they know that kill streaks are coming. We've got bloodied items.
Yep.
There's a lot to chew on in the season, but there's also a lot more that we didn't share. So do you want to walk us through what they can expect?
Yeah, so before we jump into a video, let me just kind of tee up kind of our thinking behind this season. So, you know, when we looked at the roadmap for Lord
This
of
guy's
Hatred,
good.
you know, we saw that we really needed to develop kind of a shorter season, a punchy season. And so, you know, we rifled through some ideas, and then we remembered that we built a pretty strong foundation from our previous season. So we needed to build on top of that. And then when the team came up with this particular idea, and it just felt really novel, and it just fit really well. So without further ado, I guess, let's check out the video, and then we can talk more about it.
All right.
Welcome everyone to our Season of Slaughter developer update. I'm Josh Brinson, and today I'm excited to share some updates coming to Diablo 4. As we gear up for the release of Lord of Hatred, we're exploring new systems that push Diablo into fresh, unexpected territory, embracing innovation while staying true to its dark roots. While this may be a shorter season, Season of Slaughter encourages experimentation, leans into mystery, and leaves room for surprises that are best uncovered by players through their own journey. For the first time in Diablo history, you can embrace your inner demon and transform into one of Hell's fiercest monstrosities, the Butcher. Let's get right into it.
Starting in Guild Ku on the seasonal build, you will undertake the quest, A Taste of Power, and uncover the dark past.
Can I kill other players?
The Butcher.
Can I kill other players?
As the Butcher, you wield the brutal powers that inspire terror, turning them upon your enemies. Cleave through monsters, charge fearlessly into the fray, and unleash a hell of hooks to drag your prey to a bloody end.
This is
We are
insane.
thrilled for you to play as the Butcher and dive into everything Season of Slaughter brings.
This is fun.
Whether
This
you're
is good.
chasing faster progression or craving fresh ways to tear through Sanctuary, we are excited for your journey. While we share what lies ahead, not every secret is meant to be revealed. Some surprises are waiting for those bold enough to find them in-game.
There are several paths to becoming the King of Slaughter. This season introduces a new earnable item called Meaty Offerings. These can be used on the Shrine of Slaughter, a new event available in Helltides, transforming you into the Butcher. This activation triggers a brutal onslaught, drawing hordes of enemies to you, each kill feeding your gory rewards. Helltide isn't the only place to prove your dominance. In the Fields of Hatred, the ceremony of slaughter ignites every 10 minutes, transforming the battlefield into a race for supremacy. Every kill fuels your savagery,
PvP
pushing you
updates.
closer to ultimate power.
PvP
When the
updates in
ritual
D4.
concludes, a butcher's idol rises for the fiercest contender. Take it, become the butcher, and turn the entire area into your personal killing ground.
This is good.
Want the full butcher fantasy on demand? Step into Slaughterhouses.
What?
A new activity that keeps you as the butcher for the entire run. From the first step to the final blow, you're unleashed to do what he does best: slaughter everything in sight. There's more to reveal, but some surprises are best left for players to uncover in-game.
Oh, this is good.
This season introduces kill streaks. The kill streak system reshapes combat across Diablo 4 by rewarding rapid and consecutive kills. Slaying multiple enemies quickly triggers a kill streak, with a display above the skills bar to track the running kill count. While kill streaks gradually decay over time, they can be refreshed through any kill or by dealing damage, encouraging fast, aggressive play. Kill streaks escalate through 5 tiers: kill streak, carnage, devastation, bloodbath, and massacre, each determined by the total number of enemies slain during a streak. When the timer runs out, the streak ends and rewards you with experience and seasonal reputation based on your total kills. But beware. Falling in battle immediately ends your kill streak, leaving you with no rewards, cutting your momentum short, and marking a swift, shameful finish.
Bloodied items introduce a new item quality that empowers your gear with ferocious, kill-streak-driven...
This one is very
Any
good.
item that can drop has a chance to appear as bloodied.
You get extra
And
life.
This tag is non-exclusive, allowing items to be both ancestral and bloodied.
Yeah.
Their unique affixes scale directly with your killstreak performance
Yeah.
and fall into 3 categories.
This is very good.
Rampage, stat-based boosts for your armor pieces based off your killstreak. Feast grants bonuses
This
tied
one
to
is
kills
insane.
within your streak, such as resetting a random cooldown every 40 kills.
Berserking is perfect.
Hunger enhances jewelry by improving reward drops that scale with killstreak tiers. As with all affixes in Diablo 4, bloodied affixes stack, enabling even greater power
Yeah.
as your carnage climbs.
Exactly.
Bloodied sigils push your brutality
This is insanely
even
fun.
further, unlocking
These
more
sigils.
intense
I've
challenges
tested
and
everything
greater rewards as you brave the
PTR.
rising heat of combat. Nightmare dungeons, infernal hordes, and lair bosses can be empowered with these sigils. Bloodied sigils introduce the bloodied affix, Relentless Butcher, causing the infamous butcher to hunt you.
This is
without
so
end,
fun.
returning instantly each time he falls. But be warned, the Relentless Butcher is an addition to the dungeons, not a replacement for anything that might already be lurking within. These powerful keys
Yeah,
only
butchers
become
spawn
available
in bosses
torment
as well.
tiers. Bloodied sigils are embedded with challenge and are about a torment tier higher in difficulty than your current level. Using a bloodied sigil guarantees bloodied items and more, ensuring that the risk is met with fitting rewards.
Season of Slaughter introduces several new class-generic uniques which amp up the carnage. The Wendigo brand unique ring increases your max health and your overall damage dealt, which scales with the amount of kills you've earned in the last 30 to 60 seconds. Tear through your enemies and watch your kill streak soar. The Rust-Bitten Dirk unique dagger deals increased damage to isolated enemies, making it perfect for taking down lair bosses. The Thousand Eye Reaver one-handed axe grants ferocity while moving and increases your max ferocity. That ferocity then increases your movement speed per step. If you want to rack up kills quickly and move fast, this is an item you'll want to keep an eye out for. All new uniques this season drop from the new Butcher Lair boss. Seek out his den of gore, snag these weapons, rack up your kill streaks, and let the blood pour.
In Season of Slaughter, you will be able to fight against the Bloody Butcher,
Yeah.
who enters the fray as a new layer boss in Torment difficulties. Defeat him for your best chance to earn any of the new uniques. He also has a higher chance of dropping bloodied uniques, making his fearsome fight worth the effort. The Bloody Butcher
This is Torment 5.
initially exclusive to the seasonal realm, but he will stay on as a permanent layer boss in both Eternal and Seasonal realms after Season of Slaughter has ended.
The Dark Ages is coming to Diablo 4. Rip and tear your way through Sanctuary with new cosmetics inspired by the legendary Demon Slayer. And our most expansive free reliquary yet. Earn rewards like the Shield Saw cosmetic skin, Slayer's Flail,
Win.
the Head of the Cyber Demon back trophy,
Win!
and more. Cut down elites and champion monsters to earn Dark Ages currency and carve your path through the Doom the Dark Ages event reliquary.
Win.
Claim all rewards
Win!
to unlock the Forsaken Gates town portal and leave your mark on Sanctuary. We'll also have threads fit for the Slayer in the in-game shop. Mecha Dragon Sarat, Cacodemon, the Cyclopean Cackle Pet, Gibbet, Souls of the Lost Pet.
Let's
Tear
go!
through the demon hordes.
Let's
in
go.
style.
Quench your blade's thirst and let the blood flow. Slaying your enemies with unrelenting ferocity is the name of the game. Ramp up the kill streaks and become the Butcher in Season of Slaughter. See you all in Sanctuary.
There you have it, everybody. Season of Slaughter arrives on March 11th. We've got the Doom the Dark Ages reliquary. We've got the Paladin free trial. It's going to be fantastic. And after all the years of torment, after all the devastation, we finally get to become the Butcher and actually dole out all that punishment onto our enemies. I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah, I can't wait to jump in for the season.
Oh yeah, it's going to be so fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And I know this, the Butcher is going to be the seasonal component of it, but we do also have a lot of changes coming in, more evergreen changes coming in the season to kind of like help heighten some of those, activities that we play over and over. And I mean, Aislinn, I've heard you got some quality of life queued up. What can players expect this season?
Yeah, so of course you saw all the amazing stuff coming in Season 12, Season of Slaughter, but we also try to continuously update the game, make sure that it's better all the time. And so we've got something that people have been asking for a while. We gathered all the locksmiths in Sanctuary and we opened all the doors in all the Nightmare dungeons. So you don't have to go and click on them anymore. You can just break right through them, or they're already open and you can just go through as quickly as you'd like. We also kind of changed the way that traversals work, like when you're climbing
I wrote my question.
Walls or like descending ladders and stuff like that. It now scales with your movement speed, so going through the world just feels a lot more natural based on your own personal movement speed. Oh gosh, what else is there? There's great things.
There's a ton coming. There's a ton coming. And I know.
Let's talk about the faster loading speeds.
That's right.
Yes!
We've got faster loading speeds just across all different loading screens, so even beyond your movement speed, the game is just going to, in general, feel a lot faster.
Good.
So those are some fantastic quality of life improvements coming. But beyond that, we've also been making sure that we're taking a look at the tower.
Yeah.
So we really want to make sure that the tower is something that we continuously update, that we continuously make a lot better. We know it's still in beta, and
Yes,
because of that, it's getting
beta.
tons of changes constantly every
absolutely.
season. And so I wanted to just dive a little bit into that. So we've got exploit fixes, like for example, there was a way to extend the timer past 10 minutes. We don't want players doing that.
A lot of people
There was
cheated.
a way to like kill enemies while you were still in the safe area. We don't want players doing that, so we fixed that. We've got 5 new tile sets coming to the tower, so there's going to be lots of like cool new places you can explore.
RNG.
We're even removing one of the tile sets because it was just like too narrow and kind of annoying to travel through in a competitive environment, so we didn't feel like it fit super well.
All right.
And we've got 5 new bosses coming as well, which is really exciting. And we also took some time to make sure that the bosses were a little more balanced with one another. So you wouldn't go in and like fight a boss that had like way more HP or did like way more damage or anything. So they're a lot more balanced to kind of preserve the competitive integrity of the mode. And in addition, all the bosses hit a lot harder than they used to, because we want to make sure that once you get to that end state, you're kind of having like an exhilarating battle to the finish, right? Instead of kind of a slog through like, oh, can I kill the boss in time? We'll see. Like, we don't want that kind of vibe. So yeah, those are some of the changes coming to the tower, but we also have some leaderboard changes.
Yeah, that's right. So, obviously, Aislinn just covered a lot of the gameplay changes coming to the tower, but we saw a lot of your feedback on the leaderboards as well, and we spent some time improving those. So first up, you're going to be able to see your personal bests right at the top of the leaderboard. No longer have to scroll down and try and find where your name is if you're in the top 1,000. Next up is we built out a end of run UI, so you get a sense of where you're placing at the end of your run, so that, you know, if you want to go back and try again real quick, you can. And also, because he's a bit of a judgmental, I guess, master of the tower, the Artificer is also leaving you notes.
Well,
and
someone's got to tell you how to like improve, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Artificer's there to help.
Artificer's
And so
note, get good.
What's that?
Artificer's note, get good.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
A jerk.
So, yeah, there's a bunch of notes every end of run that you'll see that will hopefully help you improve your run. And then finally, we're just making the leaderboard easier to navigate. You've got a jump to me button, so you can go immediately down to where your
existed
position is.
already.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to continue improving the leaderboard as we go.
All right.
In addition to that, we actually wanted to tease a few things that were coming. I know we've implemented a lot for Season 12 at this point, but we've gotten a lot of feedback that, you know, I want to make sure that you're all aware that, you know, we're going to tackle in future seasons. So first up is that we are going to finally release some rewards. So in the upcoming season, we're going to have tower rewards, and that's going to reward you for advancing tiers within the tower. And I'm pretty excited about those. They're pretty cool.
All right.
In addition, we're going to have leaderboard rank rewards. So you will get some really cool status symbols, you know, prestige items that you can show off if you manage to rank on the leaderboards. In addition to that, we are finally going to release our leaderboard build viewer. A lot of you have asked to be able to see the profile and the build of the person as they made the score, not what it is currently.
Exactly.
So we take a snapshot, store it away, and now you can see that build information.
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
just like super useful for like understanding
Absolutely,
how people
yeah.
are playing at a high level, or like, you know, even playing a specific skill. You can like look at that up.
Yep, absolutely. And then finally, we are also working on solo self-found.
Oh!
And so look forward to those things in the future.
It's funny, you read chat's mind, Dan. They were already commenting solo self-found, so you've...
oh, they've been chanting that for months at this point. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for walking us through that, Dan. There's a ton coming in. We're really, really excited for it. And something I'm really excited to share with players as well. I know that a ton of people have been playing the Paladin in Season of Divine Intervention, but for those of you who have not yet purchased the Lord of Hatred expansion, we're actually going to have a Paladin free trial starting with on March 11th. You can play until level 25 on Battle.net, Xbox, and PlayStation from March 11th to 18th. You'll be able to play the Paladin up to level 25, and if you pre-purchase the Lord of Hatred expansion following the trial, you'll actually be able to continue your progression on that same Paladin character that you used before, which is pretty great. So
it's so worth it. The Paladin is seriously so fun. If you haven't had a chance to try it yet, now is going to be the time. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's an absolute ton of fun. And I'm also really excited because there's another thing players I feel like are always asking for. You're going to be able to pre-download the 2.6.0 patch starting on March 9th. So for for Battle.net, PlayStation, and Xbox, you'll be able to pre-download the 2.6.0 build on March 9th at 10 a.m. So then when it launches, you'll be able to jump right into the fun, which is pretty great.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah. We're now going to head into the Q&A portion of the stream. So hopefully you've been dropping your questions in Twitch chat. We're going to pull those, and we're also going to invite back Colin Feiner and the Warlock to join us for the Q&A. So hang tight. We're going to get them up here. So stay put. Thanks.
I think Dan Tanguay has been cooking a lot of good stuff for this game. You know, Dan Tanguay, he was that guy. He's always coming up with these brilliant ideas, and I think most of those ideas actually belong to him. Like the fact that you can transform into the Butcher, like all fun. And then on top, you have the Diablo X Doom collab, which is also super fun. It's fun-oriented, which is the right path to take. Regarding the tower, do not worry about it. It's still in beta. It's going to be in beta until the expansion hits. My personal opinion is I think they need at least 2 or 3 more seasons to pass until they actually release the tower, but I don't think people are going to wait that long. They don't have the patience for it. I'm really happy that they are removing sanctification, and I hope it never comes back to this game. People enjoying sanctification can go play Path of Exile. It exists there in the form of Val Orbs. Diablo doesn't need to integrate or steal systems from other games. That system was used by Path of Exile. And if you really enjoy that, you can play Path of Exile. That's all good. Diablo systems should focus on fun, not gambling RNG and not requiring players to spend 10 hours or 15 hours breaking through items. That's not the Diablo population, at least. So I honestly think it's looking good, refreshing. It's going to be a short season, and for a short season, I think this is great news. Since we will not have the tower is going to be in beta anyway, and we're just going to get some goodies, and it's actually what this game needed. More fun-oriented abilities, transforming into the Butcher. Having Butcher as a layer boss is a bit tricky. I'm not sure I like that idea. I would prefer him to remain as a surprise element in Nightmare Dungeons. I think the fact that makes Butcher somewhat unique is that he can randomly attack you and appear in Nightmare Dungeons. Now that it becomes a layer boss, makes it somewhat accessible, which is something that I do not like. I don't think everything should be predictable in this game. I do not want tons of RNG in this game either. There's a sweet spot for things. A sweet spot for RNG and a sweet spot for predictability. Yeah, short but fun season, Flaggy. Yeah, I agree. So my honest opinion is I like the way they are looking at things. I like their lens. I like their perspective. The transforming into the Butcher, the kill streaks, seasonal items. The seasonal items and the seasonal powers are somewhat similar to chaotic uniques or sanctification, but that's okay. This type of RNG is acceptable because there is only like 3 or 4 categories per slot, which is fine. This is acceptable level of RNG for me. But you having Mythic sanctification and having to hunt for Mythic sanctification so that you can compete in the tower leaderboards was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. I truly hope that shit never returns to this game ever again. Otherwise, we cannot talk about competition because that wouldn't exist.
Everyone, welcome back to our Q&A portion of the show. We got the whole gang here. And first things first, Aislinn and Dan, I got to ask, what was it like among the development team when someone pitched, hey, let's actually have the Butcher as a playable character? Like, I mean, that must have been nuts.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things where somebody came up with the idea and I wrote it down. I'm like, I don't know about this. But, you know, when we looked at the season and we looked at, you know, we wanted something novel and different. We said, okay, what is it going to take to do this? So we started, you know, socializing it with people, and every time we mentioned it to them, a little smile would creep up on their face because they can just immediately imagine how fun it would be to play as the Butcher.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's hard not to get excited about it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a ton of fun. Yeah.
I think that's really what like drove it home was the fact that people did get so excited about it. Like we couldn't ignore that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like we had to do something with it, and it sounded great on paper, but it was like, how do you turn that into actual mechanics? But we did, and it's so fun, and I can't wait for folks to get their hands
this is
on
good.
it.
Yeah,
This is
you guys
good.
pulled it off. Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun when it launches. I am super pumped.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question from Nog N. At Diablo, will you rework how we get materials? Because as it currently stands, the loot filter does not auto-salvage the filtered loot that we'd salvage to get mats.
Yeah, so we are actually going to rework how you get materials and like the material economy in general because explicitly of that. So I don't know if I would say it's necessarily like reworked from the ground up, but that has been taken into account, and like the materials you need as you go into higher difficulty tiers and like the way your loot filter kind of naturally evolves is intended to support that. So you're still going to be like earning the materials you need, and like when you finally decide like, oh, I never want to see non-legendaries anymore, or I never want to see non-ancestrals anymore, you're probably going to be in a place where you actually probably don't need those materials anymore at all. Like you already have like a
Doom
fantastic
layer bosses,
stockpile of that stuff, so you don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, we all know that point you get to at the game where you're like, okay, this is credit to me. I no longer need you. I'm done playing with you. Yeah, at that point. Awesome. Question from Ignition. How will you address kill streak tiers dropping off before getting to a big boss, like in the pit, the tower, or the infernal hordes?
Bosses with ads.
Yeah, so we actually did work a little bit on the amount of time that you will be in a kill streak.
Yeah.
And also like how loading screens affect a kill streak, just to make sure that it is actually possible to like maintain it and get to the end.
That's awesome. Yeah, good, nice feeling to be able to change
Bosses with ads.
whole dungeon or
Yeah.
That's the answer to that question. Fish
From X-Drift Ninja X is probably one for Colin and Bjorlock. Can you constantly stay in demon form?
Yes and no. So it's really going to depend on how you build your character. A big part of the skill tree is going to be customizing kind of what you want your character to do. So you'll find when it comes to demon form, there are bonuses for swapping in and out of it, or trying to stay in it as long as you can, that sort of thing. So most of the variants will give you like a couple seconds of demon form. So that's more of like kind of a temporary thing, but you could chain them back to back to try to keep that going. The caveat would be Metamorphosis, which we spoke on a little bit before, which is the ultimate. That baseline allows you to swap into demon form, but replaces your entire skill bar. So that version, which can be like a little bit of a bit to learn that you have new skills. So that one is permanent, but that one is honed in on a very specific set of skills. Whereas then the variants of Metamorphosis, they undo the reworking of your skills, but then those become temporary versions of demon form that it gives you kind of a power up of like, now I'm the fire demon, or now I'm the shadow demon. So it'll really come down to kind of how you choose to customize demon form as you make your build.
Very cool. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Infernal Cold 780 asks, what weapons will the Warlock use?
Ooh.
Sure. Yeah, broadly speaking, we're looking at sort of melee weapons. So you're going to be able to use daggers, flails, and then swords, axes, and maces of both one-hand and two-hand variety, and then your offhand focus.
Better than Necro.
Very nice. 888 Reality. Does the leaderboard do the leaderboard rewards only last for the season?
So there's going to be a bunch of different types of leaderboard rewards. Some of them, which are based on climbing the tower tiers, are going to be just power-based rewards that you are going to earn and be able to keep as your character migrates to Eternal. The status symbols, however, fall into two different categories. Some of them you are going to be able to keep, and some of them you aren't. And so, I don't want to spoil too much yet, but it's a nice mix of things that basically allows you to both show off in the moment and then kind of memorialize the fact that you were able to achieve something, that difficult, I guess.
Yeah, it's always nice to still have something you can kind of peacock around and let everybody know. Yeah, hell yeah. Fun name, Marquise, or Marquise, however you pronounce it. At Diablo, what about other classes for class balance? Like the Druid, will it get some love around when Lord of Hatred drops?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much every class is going to get some love because we've reworked the skill tree. There's more on that to come, but the Druids specifically I think are going to really enjoy because we did something special, which is a lot of the skills you're actually going to be able to pick what form do you want to take. So on live today, we just sort of prescribe, the werewolf. Let's just say Shred, for example, can only be used as the werewolf, or Maul is a good example as well, which is the Druid bear attack. It's a basic attack. In Lord of Hatred, you'll actually be able to pick like, actually I want to be a werewolf and Maul thing. So you have a ton of flexibility both within shape-shifting and human form, and there's just so many really cool skill variants and side upgrades that we have for the Druid. And that's not just for the Druid, again, that's like every single class coming to Lord of Hatred has these types of things. You haven't even seen like what we've done with the Necro yet. So So there's just like a lot of stuff that we have in store, and it's all going to be balanced. We've been playtesting it a bunch. We've been hammering on this for like a year. So we think it's just going to be a really fun moment. No matter what class you're into, you're going to have really cool stuff to play.
When are you going to talk about it then?
Every class has gotten tender loving care.
When are you going to talk about it?
Regardless of like who you play, like you're going to come into Lord of Hatred and be like, holy shit. There's a lot of awesome stuff here.
One really cool thing is that, for example, you think about Trample on the Druid, right? Which, you know, charge through a bunch of enemies. It's the bear. The werewolf version actually leaps you. Like you can pick a leaping version of that.
Damn.
So, and that's just like, oh, what shape-shifting form do I want to be? There's also a variant on top of that, which is like, okay, what do I want my Trample to do? So there's just a ton of stuff like that to really unpack, and tons of permutations just within one skill.
Wow. Okay, you heard it here first, everybody. And I really like what you said too, Colin, about like how we're just kind of scratching the surface. Like we will have a whole other live stream to kick off before Lord of Hatred goes live. So we'll definitely have another spot to kind of get into all those details. But there is, like Colin said, a lot cooking for all the classes under the hood that we're really, really, really excited to share.
Good.
So yeah, that's really excited. Thanks for sharing that. Noob Sauce season. Are bloodied items exclusive to the season?
Yes.
Or is it something that will persist in Eternal and also spawn into future
exclusive to the season like Chaos Uniques?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll talk about that. So, as of right now, bloodied items are only for the season of Slaughter. However, you know, this isn't the first time this type of feedback's come up. I think, you know, a lot of folks want to be able to, you know, use a lot of these cool seasonal items in future seasons. And so that's something we're actively working on right now, trying to figure out what's the best way to bring them back. And I think, you know, once we get, you know, Lord of Hatred out, I think we'll have a lot of new tools to be able to do that.
Heck yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of tools that they're going to be able to chew on for that expansion. It's going to be really, really,
If
really
they bring
exciting.
Sanctification, I'm going to quit this game.
Justarius or Justarius.
If Sanctification comes back,
of new classes
I'm
is
quitting
seeing
the game.
runes they have both for automating their own kit and new toys they can bring to other classes. Can we get a sneak peek of the Warlock skills that will be on runes?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the two runes that the Warlock will be adding is the ability to proc its Dark Prison skill and its Brimstone subpower. So Dark Prison is an area that will tether enemies into it, so you'll be able to lock down enemies with that. And then Brimstone are kind of these little mines that you leave around that'll explode when enemies get close.
Not both
Very
of
cool.
them sucked.
Chaos
Armor didn't.
Harris Mokhtar. Even if I'm playing ranged, does converting to Butcher convert playstyle to melee?
It will still convert you to a melee build. The Butcher, you know, he gets up there and he cleaves people and he screams fresh meat. So if you turn into the Butcher, that's the vibe you're going to have too. So I think we're really excited about the way the Butcher plays. Yeah. Like he's just so much fun to just cleave through enemies. And he's also very burly and tough. So like if you get up in melee, you're not really going to have to like, typically, you're not going to have to worry too much about dying. There are some situations where it might happen, but yeah, can't wait for players to try that out. But
His
yeah,
Furnace Blast is like basically ranged too. Like
it
like
is,
eruption,
it's
the whole
huge.
screen,
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
huge.
attacking reduces the cooldown. So
Yeah, I guess the hook is kind of ranged, but then makes it close range. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, so there's that nice blend. But yeah, the Butcher is definitely not a bow and arrow kind of guy.
Not a bow and arrow kind of guy. Not waving a staff around and slinging spells.
Yeah, no shot. Drakith_90. Will the Warlock be able to enslave demons and use them as pets like his Diablo 2 resurrected counterpart?
Yes and no. Not exactly in the same way that the Diablo 2 Warlock does it. The main focus we have is, so with our class mechanic, specifically the 4 that you can directly bind to yourselves. Those are sort of his primary demons that he's going out and he's capturing. And then technically there's also a couple of ways to like dominate enemies' minds and kind of control them around the battlefield, but nothing as a direct one-to-one with D2 because they're just kind of slightly different games.
Yeah, nice. I think one thing to touch on is for the class mechanic it is this quest. We've made a really cool quest for it. You're going to go across Sanctuary and dominate some of these really powerful like arch demons, right? Like they're more than just like, oh, there's a goatman over there that I'm going to possess. It's like, no, there's a devourer deep in the caves of, you know, this really ancient place that you're going to go and like bind this specific demon. And the whole quest line has a really cool, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but a cool ending to it. So that's sort of the take we had for the D4 Warlock.
Hell yeah, it sounds badass. We got another question from Loathe Burger. Loathe Burger, does becoming the Butcher put you into PvP mode?
No, not necessarily, though there is a mode specifically in the Fields of Hatred that has some PvP elements to it that involve the Butcher.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that. There may be some butchering of other Wanderers going on in that place.
Yeah, but that's in the
Wouldn't be
PvP
Butcher if
zone
you couldn't get
anyway.
After other players at some point, right?
Yep.
And actually, I'm glad you brought that up too, because we do have the Season of Slaughter overview blog going live after the stream. So we'll share some more details on the nitty-gritties coming with the season, as well as the Warlock deep dive blog and the 2.6.0 patch notes. So if you're a reader like me, you've got a lot to chew on following the stream. So we'll definitely check that out. All right, we got our last question from Caps Lock Leo. The Warlock, Spearborn, and Paladin feel so innovative over the original classes. Will the new skill tree make the original classes feel as fresh and new
They're
as
gonna say
these
yes.
new classes?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, we took, I'm not kidding when, you know, we poured so much love, blood, sweat, tears into these existing classes. They've all got massive overhauls to their skill trees. Again, I'm not going to spoil too much. Like, some of the classes have even gone further beyond, like the Necro and Druid, that have these really cool things. So, you know, all these classes are going to get the same number of variants in Lord of Hatred. They're all going to have tons of side upgrades to help tune and fine tune and customize things. We've also pretty much looked at like every single legendary and unique item in the game, like, not exaggerating, like everything has been touched and fine tuned, and all that we've learned over the past several years of D4 has really just gone into this skill update. So it feels like a completely different game, but familiar. You know, like if you're playing the Sork, it still has these really awesome themes of pyromancy, shock, frost, and you're master of elements, but there's just so many ways to play with it. Like, oh,
These
I want
questions are
kind of
kinda
meteor instead of the current version of meteor, right? You can do
easy
that,
ones.
and you can also overpower the meteor so that it's bigger and that you can dump all your mana into it. There's just like so many different ways to play. So I would say yes, we've taken so much of the learnings from Spiritborn and Paladin and Warlock and poured it into these classes that we all know and love. No classes left behind.
Oh, absolutely. Like every day we go into the office and people are just debating, they're having conversations, they're talking about how can we make the existing classes like better and elevate them to the level of like excellency that the 3 new classes have reached. They are on the same level.
They are admitting this.
They're really awesome.
They are actually admitting.
It's phenomenal. And yeah, I'm just so excited for all these features to come in with Lord of Hatred on the 28th. There's just going to be so much to chew on. It's going to, like, you know, like you said, Colin, it's going to feel familiar. It's still going to have that class identity, but also be, you know, just a totally different feel. So it's really, really exciting.
If you don't like the Warlock or Paladin, you loved your base class, it's an awesome time to come back.
Yeah, we all know those players who are like, no, I always play the Druid, and the Druid is all that I'm ever going to play, and I'm only going to ever play the Druid. So
we have the Druid guy working on the Druid. So
hey, there you go.
Yes, we do.
He's a big werewolf enjoyer. So
Yes.
Hell yeah. Unreal. Well, I want to thank you all for coming out and being on the stream today. This has been really, really fantastic. And I've got something really excited to share with everybody back home. If you're a lore nerd or really love the narrative around Diablo, we've actually got a copy of our next novel coming to the Diablo franchise. This is The Lost Herodrum, written by Matthew J. Kirby in close tandem with the development team. It launches on April 21st, and it covers the story of the Lost Herodrum, and it is the official prequel novel to the Lord of Hatred expansion. So if you want to know everything that was kind of going on leading up to these events, this is definitely something you're going to want to check out now. Pre-order is live, and the book comes April 21st, right ahead of the Lord of Hatred expansion. So, I mean, I'm sure people are going to bomb through this in a week, but it's a great little prepper for when the expansion goes live. And just to give a quick recap of everything coming with the Lord of Hatred expansion, we've got a really handy infographic that takes you through everything. Like we mentioned, the campaign, the classes, the region, and a whole lot more to get into. And we'll have more details in that live stream that we're going to have closer to expansion launch in April. And then for Season of Slaughter, it launches on March 11th. You're going to be able to become the Butcher.
In 6 days.
Kill streaks, Butcher skills, a new reliquary. We've got Dune the Dark Ages, new unique, and of course that Paladin free trial. And when Season of Slaughter goes live on March 11th, you'll actually be able to grab this Twitch drops that's going to start with the season. It is the two-handed, we've got free reliquary items coming with Doom the Dark Ages. That Shield Saw cosmetic looks pretty badass. And of course, if you collect all of these in the free reliquary, you will get this town portal in the bottom right corner, which looks just absolutely insane.
Insane.
And then when Season of Slaughter goes live, you will be able to grab this bow cosmetic starting on March 11th. Just watch any streamer in the Diablo 4 category that has drops enabled on their channel for 2 hours to grab this badass bow cosmetic. And of course, on March 9th, you'll be able to pre-download the 2.6.0 patch update on Battle.net, Xbox, and PlayStation. So you can load right in, and then when 2.6.0 goes live on March 11th, you'll be able to jump right into.
You can pre-download this 2 days before the launch.
I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who's been here. Thanks for hanging out and answering all the questions.
You're welcome.
I want to give a massive thanks to production, Filthy Rich and the boys. Thanks for putting on a great show as always. And I want to thank everyone at home for tuning in and checking out the stream. We're really excited to get Season of Slaughter in front of you on March 11th. So we'll see you all in Sanctuary.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
Okay. All right, so we do not yet know the biggest. They raided Rob. Let's. I like Rob. We can have him on the background, hopefully. Rob is gonna be happy. Rob is gonna be happy. Let's see what he says.
So we're cooking here. And it's also going to be extremely fast. Like we have this mobility skill here called Neither Step. You basically like go into the Shadow Realm and
so Rob is already playing Warlock.
Move and move around the map extremely fast, even on this like more mid-level.
Like he's actually releasing footage.
Like, we were going extremely fast. No, you can't play now. This is me playing when I visited the Blizzard headquarters in California. I was invited along many content creators, and we were able to test and play and give some feedback.
Yeah, some of them are free from reliquary, Fleggy.
Soon TM. Warlock skill tree video, I think it's coming out in like 20 minutes or so, guys, okay?
That's good. Rob is gonna, like, when he was in the US, he probably just recorded this footage, so which is good. It's a good release of information from a credible source and a good content creator. So, like, I really like that. About the Necromancer, they said some hopeful things. Of course, we have to see. The Butcher mechanic looks fun, and it's going to be a close, like it's going to be a short season anyway. So since it's going to be a short season, we're just going to do some silly things and enjoy the season. About the leaderboards and the tower in general, they're working on it. It's in beta, so like I kind of like that. I kind of like how they're trying to improve things. This is a step in the right direction. Things could have been way worse. Well, I mean, imagine sanctification, for example, becoming a permanent system in this game. That would be the most disgusting thing that has ever happened for Diablo universe, I would say. But it's looking good, looking hopeful. I think Horadric Cube will have some RNG elements into it, but it is what it is. I think that should be manageable. Anything that's manageable should be fine. The developers should just focus on finding the sweet spot of systems and sweet spot of things. And that's basically it. I'm going to turn off the stream. I'm going to work on some things myself. But thank you so much for watching. I had some nice people to chat with and nice viewers that support the channel. Thank you so much. I will, of course, stream the season start. I will release the best Necromancer guides and all that. So that's going to be released. I will have those videos for you. I will have the best Necromancer builds. I have spent a lot of time during the PTR. It's already in my YouTube channel. But yeah, thank you so much. I will stream everything. I will release the videos. Make sure to like, sub, follow, whatever you do. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.